All right, we're back with the Tri-State Sports Guys, top of the Cable Ready Studios here in Norwalk. I'm Mike. We got Shawnee I.
That's all right.
That's number one. All right,
there we go.
on there. All right, exciting time. This is something. I know this is one of O's favorite times of year. He loves talking trades and loves talking off-season stuff. So now we're at time for the winter meetings for baseball. I mean, obviously we got to start with the biggest story in the New York area. Jose Reyes,
Absolutely,
going to sign. Going on to sign with the Marlins. Now, a couple things with this deal. From the beginning of the season, I said there was no chance that the Mets were going to re-sign. From the beginning, in the spring, you look at the tape. I said there's no way. And I was making all these cases why they needed to sign him. I wasn't a guy who said that they needed to sign him, because of his injury history. I knew that he was just going to require too much money. And on the surface, the 6 years, $106 million doesn't seem too much, because some people were, earlier on in the season, in the spring, he was going to command $120, $130 million. But when you look at it, when I looked at how the contract is structured, it's back-end loaded, which makes no sense at all. You got a guy whose whole career is based on his speed. He's going to be 29 years old this year. So by the end of this contract, he's going to be 35 years old. The first couple of years of his contract, he's only making $10 million a year. It's back-end loaded, where in the last 2 years of his deal, he's making $22 million a year. So now you're going to be spending $22 million on a 34 and 35-year-old shortstop whose whole game is about their speed.
Right.
Now, how much sense does that make?
It doesn't make much. And the other thing that I don't understand, they had, and maybe not last year's, they had an all-star shortstop already.
That's what I'm saying.
They had one already. To me, it didn't make sense.
Now,
it did not make sense at all.
100% I agree with you. And here's another reason why. So now they were making this big push for Pujols.
Right.
Latest news, we're filming the show Wednesday night. It doesn't look like he's going to sign with them. They've now since signed Mark Burley, which we can get into in a minute. But, so now they got Reyes and a disgruntled Hanley Ramirez. Because Hanley Ramirez does not want to move to third base. He's come publicly and said he doesn't want to move to third base. So now you're forced with either dealing with that problem, and he's been a problem even when he's happy and playing shortstop. Now you got a problem of a guy who doesn't want to play in the position. He's going to now be second fiddle to another shortstop, and they're either going to have to try to handle that or they're going to trade him. Now, why wouldn't they take this $106 million that they were going to spend on him and then just throw crazy money at Pujols? If they made a 10-year, $15 million offer. Make it 10 years, $240, make it $250, and nobody can compete with it. Now you got it. Maybe you overpaid for that, but now you have Hanley Ramirez and Albert Pujols instead of Jose Reyes and a disgruntled Hanley Ramirez. I don't understand the thought behind it.
And again, I'm a Yankee fan. I like Jose Reyes. I think he's fun to watch, but to me, it's just a huge risk.
Huge risk.
When was the last time he's played a full season?
He hasn't played 150 games. I think he's played twice in his career.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about.
And now you're talking. He's got a 9-year career. He's been around 10-year career. It's not like
so. It's a huge risk, and I think if somebody's a risk, you cannot, no matter how good they are, you can't throw that much money. You just can't do it. And again, like I said, you got a guy down there who's just as good, if not maybe a little bit better, more power anyway.
Yeah, he's got more power. He's probably a better hitter. Reyes has a high, batting average because of his speed. He could work, a lot of.
Did you hear what Francesa said today? That possible thing.
What's that?
They might trade Hanley for David Wright.
Well, there was talk about that, which I don't believe that would happen. But
no way.
But there was a lot of teams. What I would do at this point, they went out and they spent stupid money on Burley. And Burley, did you see the size of his contract? 4 years, $58 million.
Yeah.
It'd be 33 at the start of the season. Or it'd be 32 at the start of the 33 at the start of the season. He's 32 now. So you're going to be spending $15 million a year on a 33-year-old pitcher who's solid but doesn't strike a lot of people out. Just eats up a lot of innings and has a decent ERA and all. You could take Hanley Ramirez, you could turn him into Matt Cain. You could trade him for Matt Cain. You can go out and trade him and look for King Felix. I honestly, and I said this to O, and O kind of laughed at me, but you could go to the Red Sox and say, you guys need a shortstop. Now, granted, they had problems in their starting rotation, but you say, give me one of your stud pitchers and somebody else, and you could have Hanley Ramirez back. Maybe even flip-flop Beckett, who had originally came, they traded each other then, Beckett and a guy.
Because from what I hear, who knows if there's any truth to it, that Beckett and Bobby V are just not going to get along.
That's what I'm saying. So you get rid of him. Then they go out and and pick up a pitcher, but then they contract-wise, there's not going to be much difference there. But I think what they've done, and I understand what they're doing. They're trying to make this big splash, but what they've done is, it is almost like they're just throwing money away. Like and I'm not, remember like when the Rangers went and spent all that money on A-Rod and they were doing those
Right.
kind of things because they wanted to make a splash.
But
I don't see how
to
either
me-
one of those are very smart signings
Right.
for
And
what they
it's-
needed.
It's out of their character.
Yeah,
They never do
no,
this.
they got this new stadium. They
Right.
want to show that.
No, that stadium opening this year,
Mhm.
and it's just strictly baseball only, right? It's just
Baseball
brand
only.
new and
yeah.
okay. So they obviously, well, that's a smart move. Then they got to put people in there, and you know the Spanish population. Have you ever been to Miami?
No, but I mean.
It's more Spanish speaking than I think English speaking.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
to
that's what.
bring popular Spanish players in, you know,
I
that might
guess,
be a
but
smart
I mean, they
move,
got
but
Hanley
right.
Ramirez. I mean, you bring out.
But from what I hear, he's not well liked down there.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of a jerk.
Right.
But well, so, I mean, let's talk about some other potential things. Now, what the Mets wound up doing, and we had this big argument on Facebook last night about what the Mets did.
Mm-hmm.
So the Mets traded Angel Pagan,
Yep.
got back Andres Torres and Ramirez, the middle reliever from
Right.
the Giants. Now the Giants, he's a very good middle reliever. Then they went out and signed John Roche, whatever his last name,
Yeah.
the big tall guy, and they got Cordero,
Mm-hmm.
who once threw a chair into the crowd. So now they've solidified the back end of their bullpen. They got rid of Pagan, who look was big time on Pagan, but let's be honest, the guy's spent 6 years in the major leagues. His career's .275 hitter with 33 career home runs.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have pop. Don't give me that. He steals. He's a decent base stealer, but he's not a high percentage base stealer. He's fast.
He stinks.
He stinks. He's got an OPS under 750. Don't give me that this guy is a very good. I mean, he's a solid role player, but don't give me that losing him means anything.
Right.
To me, if you don't have a lot of money to spend and you want to be at all competitive, there's only two possible ways to do it. You could be like the Rays, and you could have a fantastic farm system
Yep.
ready to play right now, which the Mets don't have right now. They have all these pitchers that are coming up. The other way to do it, and other teams have done it in the past, is to have a lockdown bullpen
Mm-hmm.
and shorten the game and just hope you can turn it over. Now, I'm not saying that those three guys that they signed are lockdown guys,
Right.
but at least it shows you that they're trying to win, and they're doing it within their
Right.
something they can do. It gives you a chance. Right?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now the thing with the Mets, to shorten the game, you might need a bullpen that goes 6, 7, 8.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, there really wasn't anything they were going to do, but at least
Right.
it shows you that they're being a little more
they're-
creative. They're not just throwing stupid money at people.
Exactly.
None of these things, none of these are big deals. I mean, I think basically what they're saying is we're not going to be competitive this year. We're probably not going to be competitive next year. We need something to bridge the gap. We're going to try our best, and we're going to put out a team that's going to be competitive. And to be honest, the fences are coming in. David Wright's going to hit over 30 home runs, I believe, with his fences
Mhm.
coming in. Jason Bay's going to be back into the 20s.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
I think he stinks.
I think he stinks, but they're moving the fences at
Yeah.
15 feet.
Right. Right.
It's going to make a difference. I don't ever think he's going to be an all-star, but I think he's going to be much better. I think you got Lucas Duda, who's shown pop,
Mhm.
and you got Ike Davis, who was hitting 320 or whatever he was hitting with all these
Right.
home runs. So you have some pieces where they're not going to be a joke. I do think they're probably the least talented of the 5 teams in the East when you really look at what's going on there.
I still think Washington
What?
stinks.
Washington stinks, but they're going to have Strasburg.
Right.
At some point, they're going to have Bryce Harper next year.
Yeah.
They're more. I'd be more excited to be
Oh yeah,
Mets.
more exciting. Yeah.
But I could see them. I could see them finishing under the Mets.
They got O's boy Zimmerman.
They got-
on his fantasy
he
team.
loves him.
Yeah.
They got Zimmerman, but so I mean, I think for the Mets, this is what they
They have to do it.
That's
Financially, they have to do it.
Right.
They're
they lost
but they're-
$70 million.
right, but they had to. They had. How much do they still owe to? Is it?
Oh, the Madoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. They owe the Major League Baseball. They asked for an extension. They had borrowed money from Major League Baseball, and they were supposed to pay him back, and they asked for an extension on that money.
Right.
The guy who was supposed to bail them out with a couple $100 million, that deal fell through.
Right.
So that's gone.
Didn't they just tell that guy like you could pretty much just come to the games? That's about it. Wasn't it something like crazy?
Well, yeah, he had no say in anything.
in anything.
But he had. I mean, the deal was so good for this guy. I mean, it was basically an interest-free loan.
Uh huh.
He was getting he'd get all his money back
Right.
plus a minimum of 15% share of his team.
Uh huh.
And if they didn't pay him back, he was going to get the majority share, something crazy
Right,
like that.
right.
But for whatever reason, it fell through. But for the Mets, to me,
They had to do
they
it.
had to do it.
In a way, and it stinks to be a Met fan because, like you said, baseball's big in these parts, and if you know your team is going to stink for the next couple of years, it's.
But you know what? The
You gotta
Phillies did
do
it. 5 years ago, the Phillies were
Right.
very bad, and they rebuilt
Right.
through their farm system and took their
Absolutely.
lumps. the Met fans just have to realize you're not the Yankees. And I think big market teams go through ups and downs.
Yeah.
Just the Yankees don't.
Right.
But that you're going to all over the country. Big market teams, Chicago teams go up and down. Boston has been good for this stretch, but they were bad forever and ever. So I think that it just sucks because the Mets have brought themselves back to where they are now because they're not willing to just say we need to rebuild.
And I think the Yankees are not far away from having a down year.
Yeah.
When I say down year, I'm talking not making the playoffs, still around the 85.
Yeah. They're never going to have a down year with
Right,
70 wins.
right.
But no,
I'm talking, man, A-Rod's just up there. Jeter's
there's
up there.
A-Rod's there through 2017.
Yeah.
Jeter's got another 3 years.
The only guy who signed more than that is Bobby Bonilla, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
He's
still-
for another
that's right.
24 years.
That's right.
But I just see it coming. And it could be this year.
Let's talk about the Yankees. We've got a couple minutes here. The thing with the Yankees is everybody's talking about the man a pitcher, right? But there really aren't that many pitchers out there, so it seems easy. Everybody says they said that before the season. Kept saying before the season, the pitching rotation the Yankees have to start this season is not what they're going to have at the end of the season. But in reality, it was.
Right.
Because there just aren't these guys. It's not like you could just. I don't care how much money you have.
Right.
You can't create a great pitcher, and there just aren't great pitchers out there. Now they're talking about going out and get Gio Gonzalez, who I like, out in Oakland, but they're talking about trading for him, but they want Montero for him, which I'll never give up. But even if they do work out a deal for him,
They wanted Montero and
Noesi or
whatever his name is.
or Benuelas. So for a guy who, I think Gio Gonzalez has got Ollie P written all over him. He's a wild lefty. He's a wild lefty who strikes out a lot of guys and looks good in a small market.
Right.
I think he's got. I wouldn't want to pay a lot for Gio Gonzalez. He's very similar to me. He's very wild. He pitches not well outside of Oakland. So you look at all these things. So now you look at C.J. Wilson. I would not. If I'm a Yankee fan, I don't want them to throw a lot of money at C.J. Wilson.
The thing that stinks is they're going to have to, if they want a decent pitcher, they're going to have to. There's nobody else out there.
Unless you just say,
Unless you tell Seattle, hey, we'll give you Montero, this guy, and this guy, you give us King Felix.
Yeah, but I don't even see why they trade King Felix because they got him relatively affordable for now. Maybe that they go out and these guys that we're talking about, they just say, we'll just keep throwing these young guys and one of them will stick.
Yeah.
Maybe Phil Hughes comes back and pitches where he was. He
Yeah.
looked good for a while. Ivan Nova, you got to be happy with what you got for him.
He'll be okay.
Say if they had gone out and done the typical Yankee things of old, you would have never seen Ivan Nova. They would have got rid of him. I think Ivan Nova would be a solid number 3 pitcher in the major leagues. I think he's solid. I think he can give you 14, 15 wins consistently.
Yeah. He did that this year in the AL East, which is...
Right. And he got great run support and, whatever.
Right.
But you're going to get good runs. I think the guy's got very good stuff, live arm. So I think that's kind of the way you want to go if you're the Yankees because... for them to just go out and throw a lot of money at C.J. Wilson, you're going to wind up with another A.J. Burnett. Now they're talking about trying to trade A.J. Burnett, but they only want to eat $8 million of his salary. Nobody's going to take $25 million over the next couple of years for A.J. Burnett.
They've done this in the past a lot of times, not even counting A.J. Burnett. A.J. Burnett, now, I'm not even going to throw Randy Johnson in there because Randy Johnson was a stud when they went after him.
Jared Wright.
Yeah,
Carol Pavano.
Exactly.
There's a laundry list.
Tons of
there's a laundry.
tons and tons of money. Keigawa. Never even seen pitch.
Sterling Hitchcock didn't even pitch for them.
Right.
Remember they were giving him like $8 million a year.
Right.
He never even pitched.
Is Keigawa still in the farm system?
He signed a 4-year deal. I don't know if that 4 years is. I think he's kind of got another year. It hasn't been 4 years. Think the guy made $40 million.
Right. But they have the history of doing it. But the Yankees are not like any other team. If it's a mistake.
Right,
okay,
that's the difference.
We'll get a new guy next year.
They have just as many, if not more, mistakes than the other team.
Absolutely.
It's just that they are able to absorb it.
Right.
Now, we just got 1 more minute left, but I got to bring it back to Jose Reyes because this is one of the fights I've been having is should they have traded him before the trade deadline? Now, what they wound up getting in compensation, they get the sandwich pick, which is a pick between the first and second round, and they're going to get right now, unless they sign Pujols, which now doesn't look like they're going to, the Marlins second round pick, so a higher level second round pick.
Right.
Would you rather have that or a couple of prospects during the middle of the season? Now, I don't think it was wrong what they did. Because they still need to fill the seats for the end of that year. They still got a batting title on them. They still put people in the seats to go watch them play at the end of the season. And they're going to have 2...
I think it's half one, half the other.
Exactly. It's not, who are you going to get at that point?
Right.
If there was some crazy offer out there, we would have heard about it.
Right.
If you were going to get some stud, Montero or something like that, we would have heard about it.
Right.
We didn't hear about it. All right, when we come back, Tony's not here, but he sent in to say what. So I'm going to be reading them and then reacting right live on air here. We'll be right back with the Tri-State Sports, guys.